Greetings folks, I'm back again with another tutorial. This time I'll be answering a question which was posted by a user WV Productions Help, who wanted to know how to essentially work with character walking footage, to create the illusion that the character is walking. And I've been asked this question quite a bit, so what I'm hoping to do now is quickly address how I create smooth walking animation from one clip to another. So I will just get into it right into that. So I've got my mod viewer open, I've chosen my model, I've got my Sony Vegas open, and I've got my footage here. Let me just get rid of that because that's in the way. So you're probably already used to this piece of footage, which is Thunder Love. And so the first thing I'm going to show you is how to create the simple walking clip. So you've got your footage, choose whatever pose you want, either be it this side, so you'll make him go from left to right, or this way, so you'll make him go right to left. So I'll choose that. I'll have it as perfect as I can side on, and I'll now record. My footage might lag a bit because I'm using quite a few pieces of software to make the tutorial, so bear with me. Okay, so I've got my walking piece of footage now. You can stop walking. I'll go into my footage folder and I will drag that into the timeline. I won't go into detail with how I stretch the footage because I've already addressed that several times. So event pan and crop, maintain aspect ratio, and I shall add the chroma key effect. There we go. I'm going to trim the first few seconds of the clip because when I recorded it the character wasn't moving at all, he was standing perfectly still. So by the way, if you want to go through your footage frame by frame, you use the arrow keys on the keyboard. And to trim, all you need to do is go to the edge of your clip, hold down the left click button and drag to the point where you want to trim it. If you find that you've trimmed too much, so if I did this, that's too much, you can always drag it back to recover the footage at any time, so don't worry. So now I've got a crisp, clean piece of footage, which will now just show. So he'll just walk on the spot. Probably doesn't have to be as long. In fact, what I'll do is I'll make this footage longer. So you've got your footage now, so the main thing you need to do first is resize and reposition it. So you can do that by holding down the left click button for moving. So I'll move him here and I'll rescale it. So you can pull on any of the arrows here and it'll shrink the footage, so I'll put it about there. Now my aim is to make the character move from this side of the screen to this side. So I'll go a few seconds here into the clip. You can do that by clicking this here. It allows you to scrub through your footage. So I'll go in a couple of seconds, and as soon as you move the footage, a keyframe will be added, very similar to this one here. These keyframes essentially tell the software what you want to do with your footage. So in my case, I'm telling it, when it gets to 4 seconds, I want the character to be over here. And if you play back your footage now, it'll do that for you. There you go. I'm not sure if the speed is correct, so I'm just going to play through it. Yes, that's not fast enough. Also, quick tip, if you move the keyframes further apart, whoops, get a yellow. The further the keyframe is, the longer it'll take for your character to reach point A to point B. So if I play it now, he'll walk even slower. Well, the pace of the character walking will be reduced in this case. Whereas if I move this keyframe much closer, he'll just fling right across the screen. So wee. So I just need to find the perfect spot, and I'd put it roughly here. Pretty used to this, so I'm pretty confident that's where it needs to be. It's not too bad. I think I might make him just a bit quicker. So if I play it back now, there we go. And that's all it takes to get your character from point A to point B. Now, the thing is, I've noticed one core thing people ask is, they manage to get the character walking, but it's getting the character to stop, which they find tricky. And even I find that to be a pain. And the way to do that is to, if you look carefully at the animation, you need to get it to a point where both the character's legs are fairly close, like so. So what I'll do is I'll move this footage here. This is going to be close, this. It'll have to do. I'll put it about there. So what I do then is, assuming you've not adjusted the position of the model from your previous recording, all you need to do is go into your list of animations, choose stand, and just record a couple of seconds of that. and I think that'll do for me. Go back into your footage folder. Another quick tip: in order to save time, I'll just copy this and paste event attributes. What that does is it copies all the effects applied in this footage to this here, but that also includes the movement that I put, if you notice. So what I'll do is I'll erase that, or in this case I'll erase the first frame. The first frame tells the character to start here, so if I delete that, it'll just fly there, because that's where the character is supposed to be. So let me just move that. In fact, that'll do. So what I need to do now is just trim a few seconds, because the character is not acting at all. There we go. And just put it right next to each other. So when you play the footage now, it won't be perfect, but it'll do. It'll walk, it'll walk. Oh, sorry, forgot to trim the end of the clip. Just give me 1 second. Where are you? There, that's it. That is roughly where I need it, so I'll trim the footage up to there, and I'll put that right next to each other. So now, let's try this again. He's walking, and he'll stop. And that was actually quite smooth, believe it or not. See, it's just a slight frame adjustment. This is pretty much what it's like in the actual game. This is how they stop. You just don't notice it because it's done so smoothly. So let's watch that one more time. Walk and stop. Now, this is the one trick which I've used a lot, and I'm just going to show it you now. I always get asked, how do you do like a walking or running animation to moving footage? Now, believe it or not, half the time I'm not actually using moving footage. All I'm doing is, I'll show you now, I'll copy the exact same background and I'll paste that here, just totally separate. Now what I'll do is, I'll go into video event, pan and crop, and zoom in fairly far in. Not too much that it looks pixelated, but I do need to be pretty close for this to work. This is not the ideal footage, but I should be able to do it. And I'll move it right to the left hand side. Not too much, otherwise you'll get this black border, which is the edge of the clip, so try and get it as close as possible. Then click this icon here. What this does is, it only allows you to move left and right. So what I'll do is, first I'll go a few seconds further into the footage, like so. I'll go right to the end, in fact. That'll do. And I'll move the camera, or the zoom in this case, across. So when you play back the footage, it's just, you know, it looks like it's moving footage when it actually isn't. So, how to put this to use? Well, it's easily done. Now, say if I wanted to create the illusion of walking, I would choose my character model. I'll put him about here. I won't need to show the feet in this, I'm pretty confident. And I'll play the animation. So he's walking, and stop. Then I'll go into my folder. Just bear in mind, I know my speed's a bit quick because I want to keep this one in the 9-minute range, so I'm not sure how good I'm doing for time, because I can't see the bloody timer, so I'm trying to rush this a bit, so sorry about that. So what I'll do is now I'll trim a couple of seconds of the actual footage. There we go. I'm just going to reposition him as well. It's a bit to the left. And when I play the footage, it's like he's moving to moving footage when he's not. That's the illusion you can create. As I said, it's not the ideal background footage, but as long as you record from a wide view, you should be able to zoom in and create this effect. So if I now compile all of it together for you, this is what we've created in a short space of time. And lastly, we got this. And that's all there is to it. So I hope you guys managed to take away a few tips from this. I know I've rushed this tutorial just a tad, so if you do want me to address some of the finer points, I will do that. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I'm not sure if I'll be making a part 2, but I'll see if there is a demand for it. But for now, the next tutorial will most likely refer to how to work with audio clips. So, thank you for watching. Bye bye.